speaking of the self and the not self. Shall we begin with a gentle prayer? Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaptu sah viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Each one of us having the three bodies. One, the gross, subtle, and the causal. The gross body known as the Sthula Sharira means the physical. The subtle body known as the Shukshma Sharira, that means that which is the mind and intellect complex. And third, the causal body known as Karana Sharira, that which is the seat of all the inherent tendencies. Would there be any specific reason why do we call them these particular names? Gross, subtle and causal? Certainly. These are not thoughts which have come into my mind just last night in my highest state of meditation or anything like that. No. We are discussing and talking the Tattva Bodha, meaning the knowledge of the truth. This knowledge has been spoken, has been discussed by our rishis, our masters, our gurus for thousands of years in India, in Bharata. And naturally, so much of deep thought has been given upon the statements from the Veda. Veda, the authority of knowledge, the authority on all scriptural knowledge. Therefore, every single word that has been spoken up till now in context with the text has a very specific reason. So, what is the reason that the physical is called the gross body? The physical is called the gross body because it can be perceived by the senses. I can perceive and see my body as well as yours, and vice versa, isn't it? Therefore, that which can be perceived by the senses is known as the gross body, Sthula Sharira. Coming to the subtle body. Why is the mind intellect called subtle body? Because it can't be perceived by the senses. I know that I have a mind and intellect, but I can't perceive them. I can't perceive my mind and intellect. Why my senses? Neither can I perceive yours. However, when I am hungry, I can know that I am hungry. You would only come to know that I am hungry when I tell you that I am hungry. Therefore, subtle body, that means Shukshma Sharira, the causal body. The word itself explains cause. It is the cause of the mind and intellect, the subtle body, as well as the gross body, the physical. The causal body is the seat of all the past experiences and impressions that we have gained from many thousands of lives between birth and death. The experiences that we had are all stored in the causal form, in an unmanifested form, in the causal body. Our instincts as well as our stupidities, they are all coming from the causal body, because in reality, causal body is where our nature is born. Our nature is in an unmanifested form in the causal body. So, three bodies we all have. But what is the question that we are thinking about? What are we seeking? Are we seeking the self, the truth, the Ātmā? Yes. Then why are we talking about all these three bodies? Because currently we are identified by these three bodies. because we think, we are so confident, we are so convinced that these three bodies are what we are. In fact, they have become so merged with each other in our understanding that we take the gross, the subtle, as well as the causal body as one. And that one is nobody else but me. And this misconception, this wrong understanding of who we truly are is the cause for not being able to feel, perceive, or understand who we truly are. What was the question? Ātmā kaha? What is Ātmā? That means we are seeking the self, the Ātmā. This is precisely what Shastra and the Guru's anxiety is. That we think that, oh, intellectually now that I have heard that I am not these three bodies, I am the self, I will immediately be able to connect to the self. No. Why? Because these three bodies, they are covering the self. They are hiding the self from our cognition. They are called upadhi. Upadhi means conditioning, limitation. As explained last time, upadhi, what do? They transfer their characteristics, their nature and their properties to anything which is in close proximity of it. To give you an example, a clear crystal, when kept close to a red or blue color cloth, what happens? The clear crystal starts looking either blue or red depending on what color cloth is kept. What does the cloth do? The colored cloth transfers its qualities of color onto the clear crystal. However, upon removing the colored cloth away, what happens to the crystal? It once again appears to be in its original. What is it? Clear, colorless, pure crystal. This is what upadhis do. And how to see the original as it is? By removing away, by distinguishing, by the viveka, that the colored cloth is not the crystal, but the clear crystal is crystal. In the same way, the physical body, the gross body, the mind and intellectual body, that means the subtle body, and the causal body, all three are upadhis on the self. The three put their all impressions on the self. And in this way, we can only perceive, we can only feel, and we only act according to these three bodies, forgetting the original self that we are. However, I am the knower of the gross body, I am the knower of the subtle body, and I am the illuminator of the causal body. That means I am different from these bodies, and therefore that means I am something else, not the three gross bodies. Moving ahead, we were speaking of the Pancha Kosha. The three bodies are explained in the word of Sharira. Last time I explained what the word Sharira means. That which decays, that which perishes, that which ends. Why? Because it has a beginning. The same three bodies are explained from a different point of view, for a different set of mind, for a different set of people who think in a different way, who may understand in a different way what upadhis are. The Pancha Koshas are, first, the gross body equivalent is called the Annamaya Kosha. The equivalent for the mind intellect is Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha and Vijnanamaya Kosha. And the equivalent of causal body is the Anandamaya Kosha. First things first, what does the word Kosha means? Koshavat means that which covers. Kosha also means a sheath, a covering, just like the sword is kept in a sheath, and only when the sword is drawn out that you are able to see the sword. Until and unless the sword is not drawn out, till that moment the sword is kept inside the covering, the sheath, as it is. For somebody to see, they will see the hilt, the handle, and they will see the kosha or the cover. This is exactly what the 5 koshas do to the self. The gross body, the external cover. This is what we all, not only humans, but all creatures, all living beings, starting from the micro organism up to the devatas, all of them have a gross body. They are identified with this gross body, and that body is also known as, the gross body is also known as a covering known as Annamaya Kosha. It shouldn't be difficult to understand why Annamaya. Anna means food, Maya means fulfilled with. That which is nourished by food is the Annamaya Kosha, is the food sheath. The gross body requires energy to move, to hold, to push, to touch, to see, to sense, to speak, to listen, to breathe in, to breathe out. These physiological activity are done by the second kosha, which is called the Pranamaya Kosha. Those who are Hindus, those who are Indians, they will understand the word prana. Prana, of course, means vital air sheath. Pranamaya Kosha, vital air sheath. It means that energy by which all your activities are done. Therefore, the second level that we get identified with is the capacity, the ability of our doing. This identification also covers our true identity from us. Therefore, this cover is called Pranamaya Kosha. The next two, Manomaya, the mental sheath, Vijnanamaya, the intellect sheath. They work in tandem. In tandem in the sense, the intellect draws the idea from the causal body and it gets convinced this is what has to be done, and it sends the idea to the mind, and the mind, just like a hard disk, has all the information that is required. And what does it do? It passes that thought through all the information in a supersonic way and gets the answer to it. Therefore, even in midnight when you are in deep sleep, somebody shakes you and wakes you up and your eyes are open, and if you are asked, what is your name? You are not going to tell your brother's name. Instantaneously, your name comes on the lips. Why? Because the mind is like a hard disk. All the answers are stored there, and it has a tremendous RAM speed to go find the answer and give the answer to the lips so that it can speak. The Manomaya Kosha, the covering sheath, which is mental sheath, and the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellect sheath, they work together hand in glove. Therefore, most people, those who are so driven with some ideas, or who are driven with education, or those who are driven with art and culture, they identify themselves with the mind and intellect. For them, body doesn't matter so much. as much as they are mind and intellect. Therefore, we have a clause in the patents. It is called intellectual property. What is the meaning of intellectual property? This is what it means, that this is my brainchild. I have thought about it first, so I am going to register it with my name and I am going to patent it with my name. Nobody can use it till 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Or if somebody wants to use it, they have to give me some royalty. You see how much we are identified with our mind and intellect? It is amazing. Look around you. Most of the things that are around us are patented by somebody or the other. Why? Because they are all identified with the mind and intellect, forgetting the original, the real, the self that is inside, that is within, that is you. And then the fifth kosha, the fifth covering, known as the Anandamaya kosha, which is the equivalent to the Karana Sharira. Please try and understand. It will be easy to follow this. Most of the time, we are naturally happy. What? No, most of the time we are stressed. Most of the time we are not happy. This is what your mind makes you feel. But think about it. When you are left alone, when nobody is troubling you, nobody is disturbing you, when the temperature is okay, when the light is okay, when you are in the environment which you like to be, what is the condition of your mind? In that case, then only one thing is missing. If I have a cup of coffee, everything will be fine. Exactly. What I mean to say is, whether it be the light which suits you, the temperature which suits you, the room that suits you, nobody in the room that suits you, or few people whom you gel well, they are there, so you have no problem, it suits you, with that coffee which suits you. Ultimately, everything is what suits you. You like that which suits you. What is the meaning of like? Like means it gives me pleasure, it gives me happiness, means the state in which we all want to be is always happiness. Why? Why nobody wants to be miserable? The worst of the dictators who make the whole world miserable, they do that bad act, the negative act, because it pleases them, so that they remain in peace and happiness. The bottom line is, Anand or peace or happiness or bliss is our innate nature. When Anandamaya kosha is spoken about, it means this worldly peace and happiness that we experience, which we all the time want, under whatever condition, in whichever way possible, I should be happy. Being completely blinded about the troubles that we put others for our convenience, for our comfort. Is this not being selfish? Is this not being ignorant of others' trouble? Precisely this reason, this Anandamaya kosha is considered as ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of the true self, of the true bliss. By experiencing these fleeting joys and happiness, we think that this is what I want. That's why Anandamaya kosha is a sheath which covers you, which prevents you to experience your real joy, your real bliss, which is bereft of anything or any being. It is the joy of being. That is what is the self. That is what is the consciousness. That is what is the Ananda which we are going to speak in the following session. In the subsequent sessions, we shall club the two together, that is the three Shariras and the Pancha Kosha, And in the light of this three Sharira and Pancha Kosha, what the three avasthas means, the three states of awareness, three states of consciousness does to the self. Remember, we are not trying to search and find the truth in these. We are trying to see what they really are and move them away so that we are samaksha, we are face to face with who we truly are, the self, the Ātmā.